Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I wanted to give you all an in-depth look at this super cool 1971 Volkswagen Super Beetle that we just finished building through our new shop, K&J Design and Auto Works. This project started out as a bone stock convertible, and the client wanted us to build a custom wide-body roadster out of it. It turned out awesome. We basically cut out all of the convertible stuff out back, welded it all up, we put wider fenders on the car, chopped the windshield, and did a whole bunch of other custom touches to the bodywork and the interior. We've been working on this a good bit and just put the finishing touches on it. We are super proud of it. It's actually about to head to our local interior shop to get the rest of the back area behind the seats trimmed out. But before it goes to interior, I thought it would be a lot of fun to film this video. I figured a lot of you would really enjoy seeing how this car came out and everything that we did to it, and hear how this thing sounds. It's awesome. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up and let her run. These cars already sound pretty cool, but this exhaust is nuts. It is loud. We'll let it warm up a bit and I'll get some more sound clips. For 1971, all Beetles, whether they be the regular Beetle or the Super Beetle, came with a 1600cc boxer 4-cylinder that, in its original configuration, made about 60 horsepower or so. I'm not sure how much power this car is currently making with how it's set up, but it's more or less the stock motor, just freshened up a bit, and it's got some upgraded parts on it as well. We've got a dual carburetor conversion, upgraded electronic ignition, upgraded distributor, and a bunch of customer supplied dress-up parts. It's a really nice looking motor, and the exhaust is rowdy to say the least. It definitely fits the build. I love the horn too. One thing I want to point out too, we ended up getting rid of the entire factory dash in favor of this smooth fiberglass panel. The customer wanted to install these Dakota Digital gauges, which if you've never heard of Dakota Digital, I highly recommend you check them out. I've used them a bunch on my own personal projects, and this cluster in particular worked out really, really good for this car. They offer solutions for, upgraded factory replacement clusters or for, custom applications like this. They actually custom built this cluster for us because obviously we have an air-cooled motor, so instead of it saying water temperature, it says oil temperature, which is really, really nice. And we ended up using one of their GPS speed sensors mounted right on top of the dash, so we have an accurate speed readout. I'm very proud of how that turned out. If you'd like to learn more about this cluster in particular or any of the other clusters that Dakota Digital offers, I've got some links down in the description box below. One other thing I wanted to make mention of right quick, the tachometer was not reading right in my rev clips and my driving clips. I had to go in and recalibrate the tachometer for the number of cylinders that the car has. We've got a couple of buttons mounted up underneath the dash right here, and you use those buttons to access the system settings for the cluster. There's also additional features with this thing like clocking 0 to 60 times, quarter mile times, and whatnot, so they're really quite cool and versatile. It's working exactly how it should now. Now let's check out the lights. For the lights, we ended up doing all LEDs. We've got these round replacement lights that look really nice with LED turn signals. To clean things up out back, we ended up getting rid of the large factory original VW taillights in favor of these taillights. They're LED teardrop taillights that are, made for like a 1930s era Ford. They turned out really good. Let's go ahead and shut her down and talk about some of the bodywork. Like I said earlier, the main goal for this build was to create a custom wide-body roadster. So the first part of that was to cut out all of the factory convertible channels. Welded it all up, blended it. We kept that little kick up at the back. I really like how it turns out. We actually stepped the side metal down a bit, you can see where we left that little detail right there, which we thought looked pretty cool. But all in all, it turned out really, really nice. And it's an open-air experience unlike anything I've experienced in the past, especially with this exhaust. I'm telling you what, this is one fun ride right here. We ended up pretty much needing to rebuild the entire tail section of the car due to poor previous repairs. The exhaust outlets were not even close to being symmetrical, but they look really, really good now and fit well with the exhaust the customer wanted. I'm a big fan of the wider fenders. They completely transform the car's demeanor, but they also have a functional benefit as well. The factory wheel and tire setup on these cars were quite skinny, and we were actually able to fit a set of 15 by 7-inch wheels on this car with 195/55 tires, which notably improved the handling. The car still has manual brakes, but we ended up doing a 4-wheel disc conversion, so it at least stops a whole lot better and has a whole lot better response than it did originally. When it came to the bodywork, we wanted to try to clean things up and simplify things as much as possible without taking too much of the car's original character away. We left some of the stainless bright work just to break up the matte black. So we've got the spear coming up over the hood, we've got the body side moldings, the running boards, and so on and so forth. But we got rid of a lot of things as well, especially in the front of the car. You'll notice there are no grills. We got rid of the grill in the lower front fascia. The one at the top of the hood, we filled the wiper holes as well as the antenna hole. We also got rid of the handle that was on the front of the hood, or trunk if you will. The handle would have originally been right here, but we got rid of that, smoothed it out. Now it still latches in place. We've got the lock mechanism in there, so you still undo the lock from inside the car and then simply walk out here and raise up the hood. The windshield is about 4 inches shorter than it was originally. We basically just cut down the factory posts and made our own top brace to help secure the glass and the weather stripping. The handle for the hood, or trunk, I keep getting those words mixed up, is right here. We ended up making it, so you just pull it, and then the handle for the fuel door is right here.
In case you guys didn't already know, the Super Beetle first came out in 1971, and it was basically Volkswagen's answer to the steeper growing competition in this segment, because, if you had kids, family, whatever, you needed more space, a regular Beetle was pretty cramped. The original design first came out in the 1930s, and while there were a lot of subtle changes over the years, the basic car pretty much was the same. So the Super Beetle was actually a little bit wider and a little bit longer and gave you more storage space mainly, but they also did some things to improve drivability.
For starters, the front suspension was quite a bit different. A regular Beetle was set up for a torsion bar style suspension. A Super Beetle had McPherson struts with coil springs. Super Beetles had different bodywork basically from the windshield forward. The easiest way to tell whether a Beetle is a Super Beetle is in the trunk. Super Beetles had the spare tire mounted flat underneath the trunk floor. That's how they were able to get the majority of the additional cargo capacity over a standard Beetle. So we ended up completely redoing the trunk. Like I said, the spare tire was originally underneath there, but the 15 by 7 wheels actually won't fit in that same spot, so the spare tire will just have to be put in the trunk and carried, as the owner sees fit. But as you saw before, the fuel tank filler is over there. The fuel tank itself is actually underneath this raised portion. All of the wiring for the dashboard and everything is behind that top plate right there, and of course it's all lined in carpet with the new cardboard material and stuff to keep things nice and clean. The last thing I want to show you guys is the interior, and I want to go ahead and apologize. We've actually got some trees being cut down behind the shop, so there'll be a little bit of background noise. But
Anyway, we still have factory door handles and everything. I'm also really impressed by how solid these doors close. It's awesome. Really good quality of how they put that together. But the interior is very simple, very bare bones. We've got the lighting controls on the bottom left side of the dash, the handles for the trunk and the fuel door over there. We've got the Dakota digital gauges, the factory steering wheel. The doors have been stripped from everything except for the interior handles. The customer supplied their own door card inserts, and we actually made them a custom set of seats. These are a pair of bucket seats from a two-door Chevrolet Cavalier, which, if you also don't already know, these are extremely versatile seats for older vehicles, classic cars, like really vintage cars, because of their size. They're actually pretty comfortable and have pretty good side bolstering, and the rails are flat, so they're very easy to, make adapter rails and to install in all sorts of older cars. We had the same upholstery shop that we're about to take this to have the rear area finished up. They did the seats, so they upholstered it to match the salt and pepper carpet and the tweed on the door panels, fully adjustable and whatnot. I like them. Of course, at the end of the video, I'll get a clip of how all of this back here was finished up, but just so you guys can get somewhat of an idea, this whole area right here is going to be basically a covered compartment. It's going to be a flat floor wrapped in carpet. The sides and the back are going to be trimmed to match, and there'll be two doors, one here and one here, that can open up. So over there you'll have a good amount of storage, and over here you'll have easy access to the battery and some additional storage. So I think that's going to turn out really quite nice. Oh, and one more thing. The owner and his wife carry around their dog quite a bit too, so there'll be a seatbelt reinstalled, and they've got a harness and stuff so they can make sure the pup is nice and secure and they can go along for the ride as well. Alright everyone, we're at Scarlett's Auto Interior in Mocksville, North Carolina. They just finished up the Beetle, so let's go ahead and check it out. When it comes to custom interior work, these guys pretty much do it all. Wait till you see how well this thing came together.
Due to the custom nature of this build and the fact that the car was originally a convertible, we didn't want to just throw some upholstery back there because it just wouldn't have looked right. We wanted to do something custom that perfectly complemented the build as a whole, and I think Scarlett knocked it out of the park. We've got that flat load floor to clean things up. It's all wrapped in carpet to match the rest of the carpet in the front area of the car, but we've also got a lot of extra utility in there to fit the customer's lifestyle. So obviously we have the two storage compartments. The one compartment's for easy battery access, the other compartment is for additional storage. The one for battery access actually has a little relief cut into the door for the seatbelt buckle to sit in. So just open up the door, flip out the seatbelt buckle, close the door, and the buckle will just stick up through the floor, so if the owner wanted to carry their dog around, they can clip in the little harness and be ready to go. The customer is also a drummer in a band, and he wanted to be able to take his equipment in this car, so Scarlett put D-rings in each corner of the flat load floor so he can put his equipment back there and tie it all down and not worry about things blowing out going down the road. The rest of the back area was trimmed in to match the door panels and the seats in the same black tweed. We've got custom side panels, custom rear panel, the wheel arches are wrapped. It turned out really good. Before bringing the car over to interior, I covered the entire back area in Damplifier Pro, which is a foil-backed butyl mat from Second Skin Automotive Insulation. Basically just to help quell some of the noise and vibrations from the motor. Obviously we have an open air car, so we don't have a heater, we don't have air conditioning and all of that stuff, but it just helped refine the car a little bit more. I've actually been using Second Skin's products on my personal cars for a lot of years, and we use them
them on all of our client cars as well. So I've got their link down in the description box below. Definitely check them out because they offer pretty much anything and everything that you would ever want when it comes to automotive insulation, heat insulation, vibration damping, sound damping, just all that stuff. So definitely check them out for your next build. Well, everyone, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave a like down below because it really helps the videos a lot. And if you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so because of course, there's always a lot more content where that came from. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.